5 rounds, best of 3, default tiebreak. Hold up to 32 individuals in the bracket. Seeding the bracket now. We will do auto seed randomly for all 23. You scroll up and down through here, just make sure who we've got. Looks good. Let me do one double check on who has not checked in. Last time we had an issue where Battlefy did not admit one participant who had checked in. So I'm just doing a manual check here to make sure everything behaves itself. Alright, one of the people who has not checked in told me they weren't going to be here, so we're going to go ahead and generate the bracket. Bracket is live. Let's go ahead and we will switch back over to Battlefy. So let's go right here. So, Dollar Graz gets our first buy. Harvester Sethdove, TMO Necro, and so on and so forth. We will hop in and start watching the matches as they appear. Start. Best of luck to all of our participants, as we are competing for both the 60 card pack that goes to the winner and the 2 card packs that go to second and third. We are also competing for the guaranteed slot in the Masters tournament. The winner gets that. Everyone else will get points based on their wins. So back over to game. We'll hop off a display capture. We'll sit here and just take a look. Everyone's going to be going through their mulligans, figuring out, or not mulligans, bans, figuring out what their opponent's decks are and what they're trying to ban. Once we start getting on further in the tournament, we'll pull some of those up for us to look at. Alright. I do see a lot of our contestants here online. Let me make sure I've got... Oh, we have 2 more friend requests there. We'll go ahead and get those accepted. Theoretically. Maybe? Okay. Event versus casuals versus... Just a matter of time. We're up to 382 friends. I know we're nowhere near the most, but it's a nice number. It'd be nice if we get that to an even 400. I don't know. I like even hundreds. Dollar Graz was actually our second place finisher in the previous tournament, so him getting a bye, he's going to be pretty happy with that. It's an easy 3 points toward his advancement, and as he is currently the leader on points and in the tiebreak, it's really what is a good roll. I always enjoyed getting buys when the situation would come up. You're just like, oh yeah, I mean, it's a little stressful because you worked yourself up to in a tournament. You're like, all right, we're going to play. It's the time. We're ready to play. And then you're like, we have a bye. Okay. Just going to sit here and try to keep myself hyped up. I don't handle competitive play well. I get very, very hyped. It's 10 minutes late, but I'll say it. Greetings, Nikki. Just see you hopping into chat here 10 minutes ago. A lot of people in the event at the moment, and I'd love the opportunity to get in and watch that, because I'll be honest, Gauntlet has quickly become some of my favorite ways to play the game. I mean, I like the competitive play, I like ladder. I really like Gauntlet, though. I wish I was allowed to do unlimited plays for no rewards, just whatsoever. Just hop in, just keep playing the different events. It mixes it up for me. It allows me to do things that are beyond the normal, and I enjoy that. It's part of my play style. What else has been going on? Kitty, has anything interesting been going on? Do we have any Kitty stories we could tell? Urist had an incident with the sink the other day. What ended up happening is he was begging me to turn the sink on, turn the sink on, turn the sink on, turn the sink on. This is after I'd had it on. He wasn't interested in it. I left it on for a little bit and then just turned it off because I didn't want to keep wasting water. And I guess power for pumping the water, and then he was adamant it needed turned back on, so I turned it on full blast, and he just kind of looked at the sink like it betrayed him. Like it was a good friend. He was just like, this is not okay, and then he jumped down and left. Then I turned the sink off, and we didn't have any more problems. But that wasn't you. That was your brother. Farkas lives a very uneventful life. He sleeps, he eats, he plays Chase the Cat, and then he sleeps some more. He gets belly rubs, he gets treats. Not much more to it than that. Whoops. Clicked on a name to get back in, and it was like, do you want to chat with this person? No, not really. Alright, Deep Blue Eye is in, and will be our first match observed. Let me pull up the bracket over here for me to take a look at. Although we'll figure out who they're against real quick. Kuzia. Okay, so I Duke Blue Eye, bringing a Spell Sword Crabs, likely Dwemer as well, against what is, well, there we go. It is a Unite Dominion list. With steals, he's going to be able to, theoretically, get purple from I Duke Blue Eye's list. The red's going to have to come natively, though. As the crabs are spawning in, there is a... well, I Duke Blue Eye knows that he's playing versus Invade. Or not Invade.
What have we here?
Unite. So he knows he's going to have to be careful about what he's handing out with Mud Crab. And right there is the purple that Kuzia could hope to steal. Obviously, with it in hand, it's a little harder. Not impossible. But again, I don't think I Deep Blue Eye would willingly give him that with, say, a Gentleman Jim Stacy. Draws a second Unite. That's a little unfortunate. They are premium Unites, which is kind of cool. Goes for the 50% draw of a red. Hits blue. That's unfortunate. It is still enough to help with a trade. There's not a really clear play to me here. You could Crushing Blow to keep one of your 3/2s alive. And then pair that next turn into an Old Salty's Assault. Ringing out Old Salty's Assault allows you to get it out before Ice Storm would be played. It appears that ID Blue Eye agrees. We're going to see the Hive Defender come down, then probably a bump. So the advantage of saltying now is there's no Ice Storm answer. However, you might Edict it just so that you can keep your creatures alive. Keywords in the grave. Guard. So you could get a guard off the Neophyte. And, well, use the crab first. Maybe you'll draw something better, like Skaven Pyromancer. You did pick up your red. That's going to leave you with only purple required. And you can get the purple off of Neophyte, but right now you need it as a guard. You need to not be dead before you're triggering your Unite. Continues going face. Down comes the Crabscription.
Read my lips. Mouth paws.
I mean, the Deranged Corpus isn't great, but it's still a thing that can hit face, whereas you're almost never going to be able to hit face with the... well, I don't know, you've got an action, so once you'd be able to use it. And we're just going to see the Ice Storm clear here. The Execute will work to kill Deranged Corpus.
Do my bidding.
I mean, Jackal's not a bad pull. You can bring that out alongside your Corpus. You're giving your opponent the Valkanist Mage, but that's only a 2/2 and it's blue. Doesn't help him for uniting. Theoretically.
They're all out to get me.
Oh! Overdrew the Ice Storm. That is the other benefit of Crab, is that you could fill up your opponent's deck with less than useful cards. So he went with that first. I'm not sure. I might have Iron first just to have that for free.
You will be devoured in shadow.
Dawnbreaker's a good pull. What did we get off that? Green. There's some drain.
When Lord's day dawn comes, I won't need to hide any longer.
You're just purple short.
May the ancestors bless us.
Pulls the Ice Storm, which is why I was interested in playing that out last turn. Tinkers the gate to 4, and then it's going to sack the blue to try to put it up to something higher. Just try to get a guard in that lane. But that is purple. Okay, I see the debate. And you're just gonna hope you can unite next turn. 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is going to be lethal. One turn before the unite is able to fire off. Good game. That was round 1. Or game 1 of their set of 3. Spell Sword Crabs will be returning for part 2. But we are going to go ahead and transition off. Try to get as many people in on the viewings as possible. So we're going to go to Aquaman, who is currently versus... Again, I don't know why I turned it... I'm like, I gotta pull it up on the bracket. No, I don't. We click the button, and it shows us. Just getting started versus Devil Signed, both with Telvanni. Oh, both with Telvanni. Sorry, I saw this blue. Sorry, one with Gabos, the other with Telvanni. Has the Double Storm in hand to answer the Gabos, but otherwise is starting really slow. It's going to immediately go down to... Does have the new Spooter. That's kind of nice. Ooh. So we could negation this, ring out Spider. You could put up Gatekeeper. Problem with putting up Gatekeeper is if your opponent has a 3-Feather Warchief, or if they had a Leaf Lurker, they'd be able to get by it. Opts to put down Brynjolf just to get the Drain on board. I think that's going to eat the 3-Feather Warchief and one of the curses, because he's going to get a second curse from Murkwater Guide here. And then that's probably going to go into a wrung-out Ice Storm next turn. Then Aqua's going to play Cliff Facer. Or, well, there won't be anything on board to Sheer Point. So yeah, you'll Cliff Facer into a Razum the turn after. This is going to be really close for Devil. A Prophecy would go a long way to helping, but you're looking at taking a total of 11 damage, or sorry, 9 damage this turn. And we can see that there's already 14 burst in hand. So all Aquaman needs to do is the game to advance without Devil healing. The curve is a little awkward, as he's going to have one turn before he can do... Ooh, that was a hard loss there. There's going to be one turn before he's able to play Tazcad. And that is the entirety of Devil's window to stabilize.
What have we here?
As of yet, no health gain.
What have we
Does theoretically have a guard he can get in both lanes, but right now that's a theoretical option. I kind of like Razum in the Shadow here, going face and then saving Bloody Hand for next turn. Aquaman opting to play it out and then play around the Leaf Lurker. Gatekeeper's going to come down to lock down one lane, and the negation's not enough to clear Sheer Point. But turning off that curse generation, well, cursed amplification may be worth it. I don't really see a way that any of this ends in Devil winning, because if one of those creatures goes face, Razum closes the game out. At this point, you're hoping... There's no hope, though. And you have to hope Aquaman misplays, and at high tier, that's a really unfortunate thing to have to hope for. Face, Uprising drawn, Razum goes face, closes the game out. GG's. I like Goblins. They're an interesting deck. They're like Aggro Banelord. If Aggro Banelord didn't run Banelord. Though I think there are some versions of Goblins that run Banelord as a late game clear to clear up guards against certain Telvanni conscription decks. So let's see. Let's hop into... We have not seen Fellerin yet. So let's hop into their match. And fingers crossed, we're going to get in early. We've had 2 really good hits, where we get in at the beginning. A third really good hit. So we've got a... Ooh, a big boy... Wait, oh, okay. He killed a Deepwood Trapper. A Painted World Empire versus a big boy Fellerin. He's deciding whether or not Barrowstalker's going to be able to hold that trade or if he just takes the 2-for-1. The lurking problem for Fellerin's going to be that he doesn't have anything for turn 3. Even with the ring.
I smell the stench of the living.
Endel only with a 5th Legion trainer being playable. He's going to go ahead and take the bump, enabling the trade. Fellerin informs me that currently Endel is leading 1-0 in the set. Alright, so you drew something playable, but there's nothing to play it against. That will help clear the Emperor's Blade next turn, though. So I imagine you take the trade here, and then your opponent's either going to take the trade, or they're going to try to hide it behind an Emperor's Blade, which you don't know there's an Emperor's Blade, but I guess better would be if they drew a Hive Defender. East March... Yeah, so in Endel's mind, Emperor's Blade gets the guard, then you're going to Old Salty's Assault for extra value next turn.
You can't defeat me.
In reality, we're going to see a Fell the Mighty hit the Blade, and then a trade into the Trainer. It's going to put Fellerin a tad behind, but if we look at his hand, it's guard, 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 guard. And Gatekeeper performs exceptionally well against things that go wide. It's an interesting crab. I'd probably keep Zumog, as you know your opponent's not running dragons. And Zumog allows you to cycle a crab. Whereas you know your opponent runs sowers, and you don't want your opponent cycling a sower. The red is potentially useful, in so much as it allows you to discount down your Painted World. But that's not going to put it playable next turn. Endel agrees, keeps Zumog, passes off the blades. I imagine we see Gatekeeper come and lock that lane down. You know your opponent is playing East March Crusaders, so that first rune to you is golden for protection. And with Ring, you're looking at, you can Gatekeeper this turn. If you need another guard, you can Sower the turn after. Then you can Vigilant Giant into a Vigilant Giant. As long as your opponent doesn't have hard removal, they're going to have a really hard time breaking that first rune. Defensive Bruma being the pickup. We might see Zumog come down, target a Mud Crab. No, looks like Fellerin.
I will light the dragonfires. That's all true.
The problem with playing... Okay, you're going into a defensive Bruma. I was going to say, if you don't defensive Bruma this turn, the problem with Fellerin is that you're immediately opening yourself up for attacks. Now we need to trade the 4 in here so that he's forced into a trade. If we throw in the 3, he'll just trade with the 2. So this is going to trade into probably the 3-4. Just get rid of the high health one. Drop the Sower. That's going to double trade here. You are going to lose that rune. That sucks. Genuinely sucks. But it is going to be card draw. You were hoping Tyr would have been the next card, so that would have been a Prophecy Guard, but there is a possibility of a trade and then a ringed play where Tyr goes field to double trade, and then Blades Lookout accompanies him to kind of help police the field lane once it's been cleared. I don't know what I think of that, because it uses up a ring charge when you might rather on turn 9 or next turn, when you're turn 8, ring out a 9-drop Monastic and Tyr. So I think I'm in favor of just the Sower going field, attracting the double trade. Fellerin is using the full of his time to think through it. Is there an argument for just playing down a Monastic Champion and eating the double trade by default? Okay, he goes with the tier route. Acceptable. Shadow Shift, not terrible. It gets you out of the double trade. Means you're not breaking the rune this turn.
I dispatched a little bit personally. You will know better. Something? I command death itself.
Tapping on the crab. Looks like we're gonna see a Painted World come down next turn. It's down to 6. And for the record, I really like Painted World because it is often a 6-cost get 2 creatures that are 4/4 if it's played within a tricolor deck. If you're able to play it in a quote-unquote 4-attribute deck, one of those attributes being neutral, you can get a 4-cost 8/8 across 2 bodies. So it's not that bad, in my personal opinion. Opts to drop the big body down, pulls up a Kinsman. Merchant to hand. Bone Bow. But you lose Shadow Shift. I think it's worth it. Now's your time. Bone Bow discounts down Painted World because it is a red. Alright, the Cloud Rest is unfortunate. That's going to hit the crab and prevent the crab from attacking this turn.
A little distraction might prove useful.
But then you play out your Painted World. And you're getting a 4-cost 4/4 in each lane. And you hit... Ironically, if you were Unite, you would have it. Right there. But alright, let's start thinking how Fellerin's going to defend against this. Edict's a decent pull. Worth noting that Crab's going to get resummoned as a 1/1 so long as Zumog's on board. Using the ring earlier now prevents the Sower Edict play. It's part of the reason I kind of liked saving it. Other options you do have an Unsummon. I don't think that's as powerful as playing the Edict, and then maybe Cloud Resting to keep something alive into one of these trades. And if you Edict this first, then the Crab's gone. So Edict clears 5 power off board. Fellerin agrees. I'd probably put Cloud... Well, you've got Shift, so you can keep Cloud Rest field. I still think I'd like not needing to use it. So then you take the double bump. Keep your guys alive. You know you're in an interesting spot, knowing that you're taking 9 damage and you've got 9 health left. Prophecy Javelin to clear the green troll. Okay. Much better spot. Also breaks the Pit Lion play, or would, but now Mud Crab's got to go out there. Picks up a Golden Initiate. So you're not going to be able... Well, if you played Sower, you could play Golden Initiate. You take the bump here. You take the trade here. Sower's going to get eaten by the Pit Lion. Golden Initiate's then in this lane. You're taking 5 damage. You have 7 health remaining. Against an Empire list that's outside of Tazcad range. Opts for the Shift initially. Picks up an additional guard. Then is going to play the Vigilant, take the double trade. I like this route. Picks up a Javelin that would have been the next Rune Prophecy. Again, should Endel have found a way to hit that rune. An Enraged Mud Crab. It's going to take a Gambit to try to clear the field lane. We've got 10, so we're going to guard in each lane, putting the Blade in field and the City Guard in shadow, and the Golden Initiate in field. We're putting the Blade in field so that we could try to get that Slay. We have Sower and Belligerent Giant to continue controlling the shadow with bodies, and we've got Jav if a big body ends up going that direction. And if our opponent top decks removal for City Guard, oh well. That's not going to be the end of it. And if they do manage to find a way of removing it,
Speak,
citizen.
At the ready.
Alright, Fellerin opts to go the inverted route, leaving the smaller guard here in the field lane.
We'll hold, no matter what.
Card draw into a corner club.
To make a friendly wager.
That is going to get answered with a javelin. A javelin, a trade, a sower. Well, a drain first. Then a javelin, a trade, a sower. Vivek will be nice because it adds an extra win condition to what Endel needs to find to close out the game. Just looking over, I hadn't checked to make sure there were no issues. Fifth Legion Trainer. Not what Endel wanted. I mean, it's not a bad pull. If you think you're getting 2 cards next turn. You're not getting 2 cards next turn. There's another shift.
I'll whip them into shape.
Into a spirit. Trade into the spirit, edict whatever its buff hits. Drop an exalted Vivek in field. It means Sower's going to be traded into next turn. So, of course, you get your 3 drain. Are we belly G-ing the spirit? Setting up for lethal next turn. So it'd be a belligerent giant monastic champion. I imagine that Fellerin is going and consulting the deck list, checking to see if this is indeed the time to move. Goes with the Edict Belly G play to completely clear the board, denying his opponent card draw. Endel says, I'm going to scoop here. I don't see a way for me to win this at this point. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go into a game 3 for them. Well played, both. Endel, I know, has got to be kicking the fact that he hit 2 prophecies in that game. And we'd have to go back and reenact it to see if it ended up making a difference, but it definitely wasn't nothing. Is Doth in our tournament? Yes, he is versus Magaket. We have Magaket in our friend requests. No. We'll go in for a, we'll watch game 3 of Fellerin and Endel. That way we can continue, at least for now, seeing both sides. Alright, so Endel has switched over to a mid-battle mage. Do you keep the Conjurer? No, opts to reroll both. That probably isn't a bad pick, knowing that Reflective, in most cases, will get wounded after a bump trade. There are a fair number of prophecies in Fellerin's list, as we've got a Protector of the Innocent. Not a bad play.
We'll see how they like someone who fights back.
It disables the Blood-Crazed Daedroth being an option, or being an option with card draw. We may still see it ringed out without the card draw. Into no answer from Fellerin. There are some good answers upcoming. Hive Defender, Night Shadow, Unstoppable Rage already in hand. Farkas has rated this game 4 out of 4 featses. Opts to Skaven in the opposite lane. Play around a Hive Defender, or a Sower, or a... What was the other one? Emperor Guardsman? Empire Bodyguard? The 4 cost 4/5 that I can't remember at the moment. Emperor's Blade, there we go, I knew it would come to me. Splitting lanes to that also seems to tell me that he is wanting to try to race Fellerin. He knows Fellerin's going to be playing guards, and he's like, I can see that I have back-to-back Temple Conjurers. We're going to break through the guards, and we're just going to keep going phase. I have back-to-back-to-back Temple Conjurers. problem is, at some point, they end up being thrown over here for the Hive Defender to eat. So I guess we're kind of... Endel is hoping he gets a value 2-drop, that he's able to combo with the Daedroth, play Daedroth over here, get card draw, play something else over here. Or, if it's a 3-attack, over here. Try to enable the trade with the Hive Defender. From Fellerin's side, I can see a couple options here. The Javelin is a guaranteed card removal against the Flame Atro. The Sower, the big downside to Sower is it gives your opponent a card when they trade into it. Sometimes that's an upside if you're racing. Fellerin is not racing. Opts for the Javelin, so we're likely going to see a Temple Conjurer just come back down into this lane. Restock it with Flame Atronach boys. Did get the 2-drop that otherwise he would have wanted. And he may go that route if he goes the Blood Crazed Daedroth over here. Wardcrafter here and ward it. Right, so we need a new plan. We're 1 turn short of being able to follow up Night Shadow with Rage. But we're looking at 11 damage. Could Sower execute? That forces the Atro to trade into the Sower. I don't know if that's a valid long-term play, though. At what level do you say I need to Night Shadow here? Because I'll be able to get a trade, and then my opponent's going to have to trade into me, either their Flame Atronach or their 2 little boys. And I can follow it up with, say, a Sower and a Barrow Stalker to give it some cover. Turn this more into a, you need to kill my minions, and less of a, you need to hit me in the face. And if we can buy 1 turn, that buys time for Rage, which should win the game. I understand Fellerin's play. I get it. I don't think I'm a fan of that route. It does allow you to play Night Shadow into Unstoppable Rage. So that's kind of nice. Endel's not likely to have a way of removing Night Shadow unless he picks up a Fell the Mighty, which we don't know if he runs because I've not pulled up the deck list.
Careful there, friend.
Sees what he draws, picks up a Manic Jack.
I keep a spare blade in my boot.
He's going to use the two ones to clear. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're within 5 of being dead, knowing your opponent has 2 burst in hand. This is why I wanted Night Shadow on board last turn. At this point, I think your best bet is to Rift Thane, Barrow Stalker, Doomfang Ally. Just try to put some extra guards between you and them, and try to save up for a Dawn's Wrath board clear. Or a lane clear. It's not over for either side yet. Fellerin is probably just about 1 turn away from stabilizing, and Endel, if he's able to make this work, i.e. if he top decks like a god, he can win next turn. Trade there is understood. That needs to happen. That's it. Looked like he was going for the Night Shadow route. Alright. Fellerin has said, Endel, you have it or you don't. I'm gambling you don't. So you draw with the Blood Crazed Daedroth first. You've got to pull 3 burst damage. You pulled 1 burst damage, but you might roll charge on that other Manic Jack. That's your out. You send everything face, you clear the Hive Defender guard here, you Manic Jack, both of your mutations go onto him, and you just try to win with that. Oh, I was wrong. I miscounted Magicka. He had lethal. Endel, smarter than SirProok. Not hard, but he had it. Fellerin, taking the loss on that series. 1 win, 2 losses. Apparently, I can't count at the moment. Kitty did a stretch. I have to turn and watch when Kitty does a stretch. Alright, so Doth is still in-game. We will go ahead and check them while I go ahead and refresh the bracket, which I have now set up on a separate internet connection, not to cause any conflicting issues. And so, this is one of the matches we're waiting on. The other is Jelly NRO. Harvester 1, TMO 1, Ermark 1. Aquaman did carry his round 2-0. Liz Maru 2-1 over Vlad. Mr. Death beat out Clifford. Unit K9 advancing. Deep Blue Eye went 2-0. And then we knew Endel and Fellerin. Endel 2. Alright, so we've got two really greedy decks here. I love it. And we're going to get some Marak action. Vanis with Forked Bolt is also an option for next turn. This I like. This is a thing I can get behind. Doth rocking a top 10 finish card back.
Speak, citizen.
Drain's unfortunate, but you're not racing at this point. Jab to clear the 5-5. Jab to clear the 8-8. And trade into the 3-3. Alright, so you Vanis Forked Bolt here. Or Forked Bolt Vanis, it does not matter the order.
Shall keep Tamriel safe, if its leaders will not.
Clears the Alfiq, draws you 3 cards, including actions that you'll be able to use next turn to continue triggering Vanis, having already baited 2 jabs out of your opponent's hand. Taking a look at what's been played.
Power flows from thy soul, the light of the three.
Careful there, friend.
Alright, so you use Guildsworn Oathman here, because you can use the Forked Bolt to pull the ward. Vanis will then clear. Then you put Manic Jack into this lane, because the breakthrough weapon can go on him. You could also use Crusader's Assault. All sorts of good value to be had here. And you're just trying to refill your hand. Beat out your opponent with cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you definitely want to play Manic Jack to prevent the overdraw. Goes instead for the
Behold,
full board clear.
my magnificent monster.
Taking 0 risks with Vanis. Picks up yet another Oathman.
I have many important things on my mind.
It's Encano, but the damage is done.
Speak, citizen.
Crusader's Assault on Jack gets him up to a 6. Then you use Wardcrafter over here. Buff him up. It's an interesting roll there. I would have waited until red was on board. And then what's nice is this breakthrough goes away. So you're going to be able to get extra value off the improvised weapon. Drop a Rift Thane, get the 4-2. Probably drop it in the Shadow just to split things up. Farkas, all I can see is a head and some belly. So 18, we've got 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Recalculating. 6, 10, 13, 17, 18, 19, 20. Recalculating yet again. I think they're still lethal here. You play this down with charge, give it breakthrough. You're going to break through for 1, 17. Then you've got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you just need 3 to kill. No, because Manic Jack doesn't get damage off of that.
The fighter's guild stands ever ready.
Okay, a Guildsworn Cavalier. That's, we'll call that decently good. So you give the improvised weapon here. Use the Forked Bolt for the trade. Clear the drain for good measure? I'd clear the drain for good measure. Probably don't break that rune, as I don't think you need to. Gets prophesied on. It's a javelin, the third javelin from Mag.
Form race.
Puts out maximum threat. Gets the buff. Cavalier's probably my favorite card in yellow. On further inspection, that may not be the full case, but it is one that I absolutely love. That's why you clear the frickin' drain.
Eater. The day is mine.
That said, unless there's an answer like a Dawn's Wrath coming down over here. Could have had one extra point of drain. But doesn't look like it's going to matter. You're through all 3 javelins, so you just go face here at this point. You can hit him for 4 and then for 6 for a rune skip. No, you don't have... well, yes, you could have rune skipped. Opted not to. Well played. And I did see in chat that there was a request to show Jelly's game. I'm going to see if her match... She is down and has lost 2-1. We'll try to catch her next. Mag and Doth were the last people we were waiting on for this round. So we'll see if they are completely done. In which case we will get into a round 2. Or they will go one more round and we will observe. You know what? His name is Doth. It's alphabetical. And I will refresh the bracket on my end. And I do see all the continued talk about kitty kitties. We will make sure we get all the kitty kitties up on screen. Likely not during the tournament. But once the tournament's done, I will take a look at all kitty kitty pictures posted to Discord. Because that is the natural thing to be doing with kitty kitty pictures. Kitty kitty pictures were meant to be shared. I forget who it was in my Facebook timeline the other day. They basically took one of those I never want dick pic memes. And basically, under no circumstances do I ever want this. But they switched around and say, under no circumstances do I ever not want pictures of your kitty. And then it went on just to talk about all the times that they wanted kitty pictures and how you could always send them kitty pictures. Every now and then I indulge them and I send them a kitty picture. Because they always want pictures of my kitty. And look at him. He's just such a loaf. Alright, it looks like they're done. We're just waiting on the scores to get finalized. UA for Mag. All I can think of for UA is United Arab Emirates. I don't know if that's accurate or not. If I hover, does it tell me? No. If I click on it, does it tell me? I do see they are in the process of reporting their scores. And it looks like Doth was the winner, as his Guildsworn won out the first one. And then we saw Guildsworn versus Guildsworn, so that has Doth advancing into round 2. And as soon as they get the scores fully updated, we'll advance. And first round, we will try to catch Jelly should she play in her game. I don't know. I say should she play because she might end up getting the bye. I don't know. I don't control this. I could control this. I could manually run the tournament. I'm not going to, though. That's a lot of work. I've manually run tournaments before. And round 2 is live. She does not have a bye, and she is versus Fellerin. I am interested to see Fellerin's lists again, so it'll be a wonderful chance for us to take a look there. The winners from our previous round I should pull up. Mr. Death, I Deep Blue Eye, Unit K9, Aquaman, TMO, Harvester, Ermark, Doth, Liz Maru, Endel, NRO, Dollar. Yep, that is who it was. I'm just scrolling down, I'm like, okay, we got everyone. Because otherwise I'm going to miss someone. They're like, so-and-so won. And I'll be like, yeah, I didn't say their name. And it was because I absolutely hated them. Because anytime a mistake happens because of a phrase of speech, it's because you hate someone. I've learned that because of the internet. Farkas, do you need belly rubs? You're too comfy sleeping, I feel. I feel Kitty is in too comfy a position to interrupt. Urist, are you up on top of a desk? No, you're wandering around the house somewhere? Okay. So one thing I like about the Swiss format is that if you lose once, you can still go all the way to place in second. One of the most painful things for me is when I would lose a tournament. And I mean, I would keep it as like a badge of honor to be like, yeah, I only lost out in the elimination tournament because I faced the guy who went in to go first. So where'd you play? last because it was single elimination. So, Swiss allowing people to go back and try to claw their way all the way up to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, despite being hit in round 1, to me, I don't know, it provides a good story. And allows people to enjoy the game. Just scroll and seeing if we've got anyone else in-game at the moment. Maybe Candasaurus. We should watch all of Candasaurus's games. Just drop the tournament now, just observe her. Because she's all that matters in the world. It's true. Well, Nikki matters, but Nikki isn't in-game. So Nikki is dead to us. Right? Nikki's not in-game? Okay, good. Had to make sure. Farkas, your head moved. It is now tucked in. See, what I need to do is I need to get a list of things to talk about while we're in downtime waiting for people to get started. I mean, I could be looking up and going, well, the roof is white. The wall is off-white. That wall's the same color. Which isn't horribly different than me because I'm still super pale. I've been trying to get out and get some sun. Trying to get out onto the porch, out into the woods where I live and just clean stuff. But the thing is, even if you're out in the woods, you're still in the shade. I haven't been getting a lot of direct sunlight. But one of the spots where I work now wants to start holding outdoor events, which would involve me doing audio-visual work outside. That's a good way to get a tan. I remember doing that. Once upon a time, when I worked doing audio-visual for a wedding that was outside, I was just college-level labor at this event. Wasn't running it in any stretch of the imagination. The sun heated the speakers up hot enough that it burned your hands by touching them. I found that out the hard way, because the speaker needed moved, and I grabbed it with both hands. And it was hot. But yeah, the struggle of living in the South. I don't mind the cold. It doesn't really get cold here. It gets down to maybe freezing, so 0 Celsius, maybe as low as -5 Celsius on the worst possible days. That's not cold. That's not terribly cold. But the summers. I have no love for the summers around here. 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit. I don't even know what that is in Celsius. I'm not familiar. Up north, I never had to what's it called? It's not transport, not transmit. What came to my mind was transmog, and then I started thinking of transmogrify, which isn't correct. We have Jelly in game. Let's hop on in. I never had to convert the numbers over at that high. I know 212 is 100, but beyond that, the scale's kind of a mystery to me. Jelly rocking her top 10 card back, bringing goblins today. Against Fellerin, starting with his big boy guard list. So that'll be an issue for goblins if they're not able to deal with the guards. The War Chief is one of the ways of dealing with said guards, so I imagine we're going to see Jelly keep that. Probably mulligan back both of the 4-drops, because you need a 2-drop as goblin aggro without ring. I don't think there's a way that you're going to be able to achieve victory without it. Mulliganed all of them. Got a Skulk, a Curse, and a Cliff Racer. Okay. None of those are super great. Feller inside, he's got a Protector of the Innocent, a Rift Thane. Jelly picks up a Sheer Point, a Rage. So he's got a lot of answers. Some decent answers. Question is, do you want to go early game aggro versus Gobos? My answer's no, but if you can get ahead and keep it... The problem right now is you'd be able to get ahead easy, but you're not guaranteed you'll be able to keep ahead. I'm uncertain why the delay's going here. Okay, there we go. Jelly picks up a 2-drop and has the 3-feather War Chief. Okay. Jelly's hand just got immensely superior to what it was before. Skulk is on 3, 4 is 3-feather plus Curse, or Curse pulled from Skulk. 5 is Facer. 6 is Sheer Point. So Jelly's actually got herself a decent curve now. Do you curse this and play out? No. Opts to leave the guard in place. So we're going to see a wrung out Emperor's Blade locking down the Shadow Lane. Personally, I was a fan of the curse trade knowing he doesn't run charge, playing Skulk into the field, knowing you can shift Shadow if needed. I guess you could stay Shadow if you 3-feather, ping that curse at face. That seems to be what Jelly's doing. So we're going to see a wrung-out Exemplar here next, which the same thing is going to happen to, which will pull the third and final curse from Jelly's list. Alternatively, there's no real good alternative. You're playing a 4-cost Rift Thane, and it's not until Shearpoint comes down, or Cliff Facer comes down, there's going to be a target for Fel the Mighty. So having 2 of those in hand is not that great.
As long as I draw breath, we'll never get ground.
Picks up Mute. Good, but I think you're still wanting to remove this one with 3-feather. Because you're eating not only the big card, but you ate an opponent's ring charge for both of those. I could have seen a logic for trading in the Gobbo and keeping the curse, knowing that you had Shearpoint, but you have another curse in hand, so is what it is. Chooses not to break the rune and not to send in the Shadow Shift to clear. Rift Thanes are both guards, and really the only play available to Fellerin here. The answer is going to be Shearpoint Curse to knock out the attack on both of them, and then double trades to clear. And then he's going to be out of creatures, based on only what he can top deck. I could see a Cliff Racer Mute to clear, rather than using the Shearpoint Curse effect, but I think I like Shearpoint Curse better. Now the thought from Fellerin here is going to be, I need to tell Jelly my hand isn't forced. I need to let her know that, no, I have options on what I'm playing. I can't telegraph to her that I have Rage and Fel the Mighty in what is a largely bricked hand. It can unbrick really quickly if he draws the right creatures.
As long as I draw breath,
He does decide to give Jelly a card so that he can get the 4-2. That's actually going to take the worst of all possible scenarios. Jelly's going to be able to go face for 4 and wipe the Shadow Lane. Given that she played Shearpoint first, she's likely not going face, and is just gonna settle into a Goblin control. She's done a remarkable job of draining him of cards. But with the Rage, you know you're on a time limit. There aren't any 0 costs I'm aware of for Jelly to draw, so there's no incentive for that. Picks up a Shadow Fen. Ooh. I mean, Fel the Mighty's the easy answer. You keep the Shadow Fen for something else.
as long as I draw breath.
I love including Swift Strike. Jelly just made me a happy. So she goes for the clear here. That's interesting. I was looking at a Racer Clear Mournhold Trader play. Hits a Prophecy, Javelin, but there's no good Javelin targets. Do you just Javelin the 2-3? Are you in that situation where that needs to occur? Because you don't need more removal in hand. And if you keep it, Jelly knows it's a jab. You already have an answer to a Mournhold Trader, but you know she's going to play bigger stuff. Does go for the jab. So you've got either Mournhold Skulk or Facer.
You can trust me.
Gets Vivek. That's a mute target. And if a big mute target comes down, I mean, you just Fel the Mighty here. Right? That's what you gotta do? Farkas, you're being a cutes. He's been trying to find new and inventive ways for him to sleep in here. Goes with the Vivek. So you're gonna hit mute on both of these guys. Ooh. You get a Bloody Hand Chef because reducing that creature's power and health will trigger on Bloody Hand Chef. Obviously, Fel the Mighty answers it, but just goes for the health. An interesting choice. Yet another unstoppable rage. 8 Magicka, so Fel the Mighty Hive Defender? Jelly has 8 Burst in hand, just needs to connect for 10. With Cliff Racer, Swift Strike. And I imagine she's going to try to hold that combo as often as she can. You do get 2 guards. What other options are there? That's really the only option. Otherwise, you're just playing a Shadowfen. But again, Fellerin, he can't convey to Jelly that he has a bricked hand. He needs to keep her on her toes, guessing what he has. And if he looked like he was forced into a play, then it just wouldn't look good. It looked like he was bricking with 2 rages and a Shadowfen in hand.
Deserves another. Oh.
So we've got 2 options here. The Mute, but the Mute doesn't allow for the Swift or the Leaf Lurker. So we're gonna see the bump and then the Lurker come down. Or is she gonna use up her Swift Strike now? She's gonna make Fellerin take the trade. And we do have 2 guards. That's something. Mute silences 2 guards, though. That is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Assuming Swift Strike is used on Cliff Racer. Currently doesn't have a way of enhancing Bloody Hand Chef. I like forcing Fellerin into the trade. You're also leaving open options, should he decide to go face.
Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
Do you not fear me, mortal? You should.
Is that lethal? No, can't play all of them out, but you could bump here, Leaf Lurker it, 4, 8, 10. No, because you need trade here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It is lethal. Herpa-derpa. The same route we were taking before. And just throws out the Swift Strike, and that's going to be game. Jelly taking set 1 here. And I know Fellerin, you sit back when you've played a game like that and you're like, alright, my plays didn't kill me, my deck did. And you're like, I don't see where I made a misplay. I played as best I could with the cards I was given. Let's look at our bracket and see who's up. Dollar and Aquaman are getting started. Both of them advanced with 1 win, so we will hop in and check them. They were our 2nd and 3rd place finishers last qualifier. So each one kind of looking to seal the deal. Aquaman opening with Goblins. Dollar opening with Battle Mage.
This might be handy.
That's a Murkwater Witch target. What have we got in hand? Guide, Scourge, Witch, Warchief. You don't play out Conjurer without a way of pinging.
No, that's not right.
I think you guide here. Because you're trying to set up for curses on Scourge, and curses are going to be how you win this game. Looks like Aquaman disagrees, and is going for the control. Says, hey, maybe he's got a way to clear this, or to ping it off the board here. I'd rather have his creature dead. That's one that'll come back to bite us later if we don't clear it. So is there no play here? Do you just say, hey, if I play this, it gets cursed or witched. If I play this, it gets cursed or witched. And I'm going to get extra value from those later. Alright. Maybe we just force him to play it. We play out our dagger. I don't know if I would have played out the dagger. I see the logic is that it prevents the bump and then you're not able to trade.
Of course I'm on your side.
Begins to see a split in lane, so that to me telegraphs the shift. It's important I guard this lane, or I can pull the guard over. Cunning ally, just gonna go ahead and get that firebolt.
Let's shed some light on the problem.
So we're probably gonna see a conjurer into a firebolt next turn. I'm assuming we see something like a Scourge, Curse, trade, or a shift. So he's gonna shift into the next trade. So Curse, bump, trader. Double traders. Curse first, keep your guy alive. Hoping for a bolt, doesn't get it. Alright, so you conjure a bolt here. Hopefully set up for a Battle Mace trade next turn. You know he's got a curse for it, but maybe he'll use that to ease his trade? Or to clear the guard that's set up? There's a couple different options on how he could use that curse. And he might not immediately clear the Conjurer. If he has another shift now, which he doesn't, you're a sad. I'll say if Chef's set up, Chef is set up into the shadow lane, I feel. I don't feel you put him in the field lane ever. Does clear the Conjurer, recognizes the threat that offers, and it says, hey, I'm gonna have to take this double trade, it sucks.
Deserves another.
Goblin's starting to run out of steam here. And that just kind of seals the deal with a Cradle Crush play. Clears out two of the weaker Gobos, weakens down this guy. And I don't think there's going to be a way to put that outside of Ancano range for next turn. Sai Sahan does not negate the trade, and will be the Ancano target. The extra curse isn't going to help you. I guess it gets you one extra damage this turn. So trade, ring out Ancano field, clear Sai Sahan. Then use Alfiq next turn to guard up Shadow.
I have many important things on my mind.
At this point, Aquaman is going to be hoping for a Sheer Point.
Of course I'm on
Because
your
Sheer Point
side.
will combo with 3 Feather War Chief for value. Instead chooses to play out and just try to push as much as he can. There's the bolt. Just clear it. I don't have time for this nonsense. Maybe you Skaven first and then clear it. But that gives him a card. You just Alfiq and then Skaven next turn? I'm a little... Alright, goes that route and then puts down Temple Conjurer. I like that path. So you take the bump trade here. Skaven. Is it Alfiq time? We can pull a Storm Atronach, which is what we want to pull. So yeah, it's Alfiq time. $19 damage on board. 4 in hand.
Kashyyyk is done for.
And 1 Goblin's down for the count. Well played, both opponents. Farkas? Farkas rates that game 1 of 4 featses. Let's take a look at who else we have continuing on. Liz Maru. Apparently 2 brackets got published, people are noting. Let me go ahead and see if I can clear out one of those. I'm not sure why I didn't publish 2 brackets. The other bracket is still in administrative mode.
You won't foil my plan.
Alright. So down come the crabs into an ice storm. Such is the way. Dwemer puzzle box being the thing given away. So if the combo is Flesh Atronach Mentor's Ring, what we're basically going to see is played it, deleted it, played it, deleted it, played it, deleted it. And with 3 negations, those deletions are going to come fast and furious. Delete. Delete. We'll leave that one alive. Maybe play out the puzzle box and just start cycling creatures to our graveyard. Or just have it out and maybe we don't use it yet. I think the threat of Halls, in a deck that you know is running Halls, is too great leaving 2 Dwemer on board. When you can remove them. Then again, maybe you're trying to say, maybe 2 Dwemer's okay. Maybe you only remove one of them, and then you just try to bait out the Halls so you could Shadowfen it. I'd be afraid of the 6 burst moving to 13 damage. Maru agrees with my earlier assessment, though plays out the Gabo. Understandable.
I'll break your spirit.
Ooh. Halls, I'm sorry. You didn't need to be baited, you just came out too early. Shadowfen is just going to come down and solve that problem once and for all. Then again, you could also say, it's only 1 Dwemer, maybe I want to ramp this turn, play Thorn Histmage. Prevent the damage from coming face. It does let him get value off of this, but he is going to have to trade it in, allowing you to then trade with one of these. I might actually leave it alive on second thought. I might play the Histmage at the puzzle box. Not trigger the puzzle box if I'm worried about combo, but Liz goes for the safest thing and just says, hey, I'm removing it now. There's no reason for me to leave that alive and play with fire. I mean, you play the puzzle box, just to have it played. If you don't want to cycle it, that's fine. Or maybe you've got Corner Club Gambler. I don't know if Liz runs Corner Club in the list. Might be saving it for that. Nope, does opt to play it, not trigger it. Alfiq, there is an Atronach crab in the graveyard.
Khajiit will keep you safe.
Sanct Pet will lock down the Storm Atro. With Histmage providing guard against the Conjurer. Then here we've got the trade, clear the crab before the guy. Liz is doing everything she needs to be doing to stay alive at this point. Didn't notice there was a conscription in the graveyard. How? Clearly wasn't play. Oh, Camel. It was like, clearly wasn't played.
The Hist provides.
And even if your opponent has, like, a removal for the Histmage, you still have Necro to pull back another Sanct Pet. So there's no real concern there.
Nothing like a good battle.
It's a wee bit unfortunate. Are we going to see the 6-house Amulet come down? Probably not. Well, you could trade in and then Amulet, so that you've got the ward outside. Your opponent has already played 2 negations. Chances of the 3rd negation are pretty low, but there is a 3rd negation.
This one is a no move for you.
That was a better play, but it's still going to get negated. Because that'll put it to 1, then you could trade, then you play Necro, pull back Spooter, lock that down. This trade's here, Thieves Guild comes here to help remove the ward next turn. You're only going to be taking 2 points of damage to your precious face. And as Telvanni, they have the most precious of faces. Maybe Tribunal. But still, so precious that some people have described them as punchable. I have not described them that way. I personally like Telvanni. It can run Mushroom Tower with all sorts of shenanigans. Alright, ditches the Scourge.
I bark and burn. This is interesting.
Yeah, negate on that, puts it down to 1. Camel trades in. The draw first was superior. Okay, got a harpy.
Rise, my servant.
You're taking 5 extra damage this way. And the Halls is useless right now.
This one is in no mood.
I'll break your spirit.
Alright, you can mummify the 8/8, pull the ward off. Put it down to normal trading distance. I can't help but feel that you could have been at a higher health total than you're at now. And I don't think the cards were required. Trade bump. Trade. Shackle Stalker. Maybe Stalker's going over here. I'd probably put Stalker over here. Oh. Where's Stalker Mentor's Ring? I think we're going to be using the Mentor's Ring defensively here. Just to give out Drain. Yep.
It's a good day to die.
Mr. Death 1000 is now Mr. Death 1001. Good game. And I guess it is best of 3, so he's not necessarily at 1001 yet. Barkus rates that game 2 out of 4 featses. Can you guys see the featses? I've not checked. Yes, you can.